I got a pulled pork.
Who are you pulling today, Tony?
I'm looking at Vulcan Steel, VSL.
Never heard of him.
I wonder if they like greet each other in the mornings and go live long and prosper.
You would almost have to. That'd be part of the
Yeah,
initiation process, wouldn't
yeah. Although it's a Kiwi company, so they might go, live long and prosper.
it? Have they?
Sorry
Have
about that,
they?
Kiwi listeners.
Are they on the buy list?
Yeah, they came on. They're a new one this week, which is why I'm talking about them. And they're a relatively large company, so they may suit a lot of listeners. ADT is 351K per day, so it's fairly large. They're on the buy list, but I think they're a Josephine, so they're one to watch. And they're also a good dividend yielder, and they're going ex-dividend on the 29th of February tomorrow. So again, their price is going to be volatile after that.
And I'm looking back over my fancy historical buy list sheet. This is the first time they've been on the buy list, at least since September 2021, which is when my historical buy list started. So, yeah, that's why I'm not familiar with them. They're
Yeah,
showing up for the
same.
first time. Why are they showing up for the first time?
Well, I think they've only been listed for a couple of years. So they listed
Ah, okay.
October 22, I think. It's a
Right.
dual listing both in New Zealand and Australia, and they're expanding pretty quickly. So they had a they had a bad result, which is something to take into account, except for operating cash flow, which is why it's, I think, probably hit the buy list after their December numbers came through.
Did you say VSL?
Yeah,
Not a
Vulcan
Josephine
Steel.
right now. Looking at the breadolator, it's looking all right.
Oh, okay. The commodity checkout steel, I think,
Oh,
is a
sorry,
Josephine. Yeah,
steel. Ah,
my
okay,
mistake.
right.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yep. So, as I said, it's a Kiwi company. It was founded quite a while ago, back in the 90s in Auckland. Uh, what else can I say about it? It's dual listed. Um, List price 2 years ago was $7.10, and the share price I'm using is 7.58. So, not a material increase over the last 2 years. However, since listing, it has paid approximately $2 per share in dividends. So the returns have been good from that side of things. Vulcan was founded in 1995 by a chap called Peter Wells in Auckland. It operates as a they say it operates as a key link in the steel value chain between steel producers and end users. So basically, they don't smelt the stuff; they just buy it off the steel producers and then sell it to building sites and end users. They distribute all kinds of steel products, including carbon steel, stainless steel, engineering steel, and recently aluminium as well. They distribute steel beams to builders. They process steel plate to customer specifications, which involves cutting, folding, and drilling in their factories. They process steel coil, and they do the same for stainless steel and aluminium. At the time of listing, Vulcan operated 29 sites across Australia and New Zealand. This is only 2 years ago. However, today they operate 69. So growth has been quick with a lot of acquisitions. They haven't gone so well recently, though. The December half-year results showed revenue was down 12% and net profit after tax was down a whopping 53%, although operating cash flow was up dramatically. So I'm guessing there's maybe some kind of write-down in their numbers. I haven't had a chance to look in that much detail. To go through the numbers, though, using a share price of 7.58, which is less than consensus target, but quite well above IV1 and IV2, which is IV1's 2.48, IV2 is $3.40. We do have the current December half results in our download, so that's a good thing. Dividend yield this at the moment is 4.92%, which is probably its lowest it's been for a while, and the dividend was down this half, I guess, in line with the drop in net profit. Stock doctor financial health and trend is satisfactory and recovering, so we like that. I don't score ROE, but just highlighting the fact it's very strong. It's 39.58% for this company, which is quite amazing for this type of company. PE is 15.66 times, which is its highest in the last 3 years. So we don't score it on that. In fact, we give it a negative for that, I think, from memory. NTA is $1 per share, and net equity per share is $1.20. So I actually thought there'd be a bigger difference between NTA and net equity per share, given all the acquisitions that they've made recently. And there certainly is a bit of a difference, but it's not that big. But with NEPS being $1.20, then it's nowhere near the share price of $7.58. And so we can't score it for a stock trading near its book value. PropCAF is good. It's trading at 4.6 times. So that's probably why it's on our buy list. Forecast earnings per share is negative 27%. So it loses a point for that. And I haven't been able to get more than a surface look at what's driving that. Whether the analysts are extrapolating from the poor half it's had, or whether this includes in their numbers the poor half it's just had. But it is a concern if the forecast is for a drop in earnings per share of that magnitude. The directors hold 14%, so it scores for that. However, the owner-founder, Peter Wells, retired from the board after it listed. So he retired in October 2022. However, they have a very experienced CEO who has been in this company for a long time. It came up through the management ranks and has 40 years of experience in the steel industry overall. And he owns 4 or 5% of the company. So, and there is another board member who owns the same. So I'm going to score it as an owner-founder, even though the owner-founder has retired. Sentiment, as you said before, is up, and it's a recent 3-point trend line uptrend, so it scores for that. It doesn't have consistently increasing equity, so no score for that. So all in all, the score for quality is 9 out of 16 or 56%, and the QAV score is 0.12. So first time on the buy list, towards the bottom, but I just sort of highlighted as being a new stock with a high ADT. In my readings on reviewing this stock, I sort of formed the opinion that it did have a fair few risks around it, despite its good growth through acquisition recently. Number one risk was that the owner-founder retired, so that even though there's still a high amount of equity amongst the directors, it's we don't have the owner there anymore, or the founder there anymore. Something like 60% of the steel it sells goes to the construction industry. And you'd have to say that the construction industry is sluggish at the moment. We're seeing low housing starts. We're seeing office buildings underutilized, and therefore their values dropping. So I don't know if we're going to see many skyscrapers in the cities, in the CBDs for a while. And we've seen, as we've highlighted in the last 12 months, builder bankruptcies on the housing front and construction front. So there's a bit of pain in the construction industry. That is possibly what's flowing through to this company with its decrease in sales last half. And also, too, I have read some speculation that there might be a rise in interest rates in New Zealand next year. Their economies had a tough time, but it seems to be doing okay at the moment, and they might be putting the brakes on it again. So that would be a negative. On the positive side, it seems well run. It's growing quickly. I did think that maybe the nickel price decreasing might work in its favour. So people would have read in the financial press that Indonesia's been flooding the market with cheap nickel, which is hurting the mines in Australia. But certainly nickel is an input into stainless steel. So it may mean that there's a margin boost to this company. I'm not sure where nickel figures into their pricing, whether it goes to the smelter or whether they mix it themselves, but it may lower the price for stainless steel, which should drive sales for that company. So that's Vulcan Steel. I hadn't heard of it before, but interesting to do a pulled pork on it.
Thank you, Tony. Obviously named after Volcanos, the Roman god of fire and volcanoes. Vulcan.
Yeah. I did look on the management team photos to see if anyone had pointy ears as well, but they didn't.
Volcanos, or Vulcan, the Roman god, equated with Hephaestos, the Greek god of fire and blacksmithing, who made Achilles' armor. And I think, from memory, made Alexander the Great's shield somehow. I think it got passed down. Maybe I think when he went to Troy, he found Achilles' shield, Achilles' tomb in Troy, and he said, "I'll take that." Took it with him, and then he could throw it, and it would come back to him. No, that's Captain America. Confused.
Maybe he swung by New Zealand and visited Vulcan and said, "I'd like a shield."
Yeah, yeah.
Roll me one off.